Welcome back to Leah's Leaves. You're looking at all that's left from my plant sales the last couple of weeks. The rest of these plants are going to go to the Shenandoah District Brethren Disaster Auction for the Church of the Brethren Disaster Ministries. Our denomination goes into places devastated by natural disaster and help to rebuild homes. And they do an annual fundraiser that's happening in 2 weeks, and so these plants will go to a good home. I wanted to give you an update on how the garden's going, because a lot has been planted out and a lot has come up since the last time we were together. So come with me. And Claire's here to help. Aww. Hi, little garden gnome. See if the baby sticks his head out. So we'll start here at the front of the house. I have 2 raised beds here, and my high bush blueberries in the back. This is only their 2nd year in the ground, so they've got plenty of room to grow. But my top hat blueberries are fruiting like crazy, and I'm super excited about that. This is the first year they'll produce. The back ones are pink lemonade, and they produce a pink berry, and then the top hat are a dwarf variety blueberry. What, Claire? Claire? Who are you talking to? And I've got some radishes, red beets, herbs like cilantro, rosemary, and Russian tarragon. And then 1 yellow plum tomato, or that's a yellow pear tomato, the tag is wrong, that was left over from the sale. And then that's a random potato growing up. There was a little potato chit that got mixed in with the bottom of a bag of compost and it's producing, so I'm just leaving it. My rainbow Swiss chard is amazing. I've been harvesting off of it regularly. This is a biennial and this is its 2nd year, so the reason I'm leaving it here, even though it's kind of an awkward spot, is because it will go to seed this year and I can save seeds from it. My potato bags are doing okay. This is where I put some cucumbers and zucchini and a dill plant. Dill is a good companion plant for cukes and zooks, so they're all going to grow together. The zucchini will grow flat and out, and the cucumbers will be trained up this wooden teepee trellis. Here's some of my tomatoes. They're on the south side of the house. There's a Manitoba tomato, a Rutgers tomato, and a Glacier tomato in these 3 buckets. I'm very excited about what's happening in the kiddie pool because I have never grown kohlrabi before, and the kohlrabi is doing very well. So I'll be harvesting that in a few weeks, and by the time that's ready to be harvested, the cucumbers and cucamelons that I planted in there today, the kohlrabi will come out, and then they'll go up a trellis and take over the bed for the rest of the season. This bed is mostly onions and alliums. I have leeks in there, bunching onions and bulbing onions. And then around the perimeter are just some greens and herbs. And I planted some carrot and radish seeds in there just to fill some space. My perennials are coming back. Lamb's ear. I just kept a little patch of lamb's ear and pulled out the rest. My lily of the valley came back. Some oregano. My yellow yarrow is going to bloom soon. And my irises are blooming this week, which makes me happy. In this bed are mostly tomatoes, determinate varieties toward the front, freestanding, and all along the back and sides are indeterminate varieties that I will just plant up. I'll train them up a single stem, prune every offshoot. Some of them will grow up this cattle panel trellis, and some will be growing up a PVC pipe trellis that I'll be building tomorrow. The plants are young enough right now, they don't need the trellis, but it'll have strings, and the tomato plants will grow up the strings. the front of this bed, I've got some Jolly Jester marigolds started that I started using the winter sowing method. They came out great. I grew them in a jug with some nasturtium, and so I'll be planting more out in this bed because they're an excellent pest deterrent. Then I have some cucamelons intermingled here with the tomatoes, and also some American flag leeks just to fill the space. This makes me happy. These are columbines. I've never grown columbines before. They took a long time to germinate. I used the winter sowing method, and now they're bouncing up and they're going to be perfect. Remember the video where we sowed carrots in a jug? Looking pretty good. They're ready for a dose of high P and K fertilizer. They don't need any more nitrogen. Now they need phosphorus and potassium. Carrot tops are edible, by the way. They don't sell carrots with the tops in the store because the tops don't last as long as the root. But you can make pestos out of this. You can chop it up in salad. It can function similar to parsley. It's like not quite as strong as cilantro, but a little stronger than parsley. If you've never eaten a carrot top, it's very delicious. And it's just one more thing that you can eat that you don't need to let go to waste. This is another surprise from a winter sown jug. I thought my celery seeds were too old and they just weren't going to germinate. So I actually kept the jug out, like just off to the side in the yard when I was opening all the rest of them. And I came out here the other day to check the progress on the columbines and happened to glance inside the jug that was still marked celery. And this is what was in there. So let that be a lesson to you and to me. Be patient with the celery and it will catch up. These are, what's the name? Not Rudbeckia, but similar. Calendula. Those are calendula. I have 2 of them in here. I had planted 3 and the cat took 1. The lettuces are doing great. I actually pulled some lettuce out this week to make room for other things. I have Minnesota midget, cantaloupe, and Tigger melons planted in here that'll grow up along this trellis on the other side. And the peas are doing great. And my Chinese sprouting broccoli is doing great. I'm keeping the peas growing. I want them to bulb out. I don't need a big crop, but I did grow them for English peas rather than snap peas or sugar peas. I like actual peas. So that's what those are going to be. I think those ones were progress number 9. This makes me happy. The azalea is starting to bloom. So they're all hiding in there. Just a matter of time before this whole shrub is popping with beautiful fuchsia color. There's something beautiful under my plant. The hosta bed's rounding out now. And along with the hostas comes our annual attack of weeds. I think this is like a kudzu vine that was brought into this area, the Shenandoah forest, and to do some forest control and to feed cattle. And now it just takes over everything. This is a little shady patch next to my kitchen garden, so hostas are perfect here. I have some flowers to put out in this area. They'll get morning sun and afternoon sun, so it should be enough. 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight and another couple hours of indirect sunlight. So I'm going to plant some candy stripe cosmos and black-eyed Susans and maybe some snapdragons back here to fill in the space and help with weed control. I'll show you this spot now. See that trench? That has been planted. That last year I grew zinnias all along here, and they were really popping. And this year I changed it up a little bit. Now I'll have some blanket flowers, also known as Gaillardia, on the left, just a small section about 2 feet. And then mostly it will be a mixed color zinnia patch. And then on the opposite side, the last 2 feet will be some 2 kinds of cosmos. Red Dazzler from M.I. Gardner, and Lemonade Cosmos from Seeds and Such. So it'll be a nice pop of color here. Raspberries are doing great. They're taking over everything, but that's okay. And they're starting to flower. So that's a good sign. Flowers mean berries. Now we're at the back patio. A lot of containers and things, and my sun bed. That's the most sunny spot of the whole place. And my last potato bucket. Look at how well that's doing. That's beautiful. That's just a white, like a russet potato that I chitted from the grocery store. But these are two of the peppers that I wintered over. And they're all pushing new growth. This is another pepper that I wintered over. It's starting to push new bloom. And this is a purple chili pepper that I wintered over, and it's starting to come back. So I had never tried to winter over peppers before, and it looks like all four of the ones that I planted stayed alive. In this grow bag are just some herbs. Whoops. Oh, I brought my marjoram over and didn't stick it in the section. I've got some parsley, lemon balm. This is a sage that I wintered over. It was growing in a vertical pallet garden last year. And I thought it was on its last leg. It had a bunch of dead stems, and it had one kind of baby little green stem. And that was 2 months ago, and now look at it. It's gorgeous. Sweet marjoram, some baby cilantro, bunching onions. That's globe basil, sometimes called Greek basil. Some thyme back there. These are forsythia and hydrangea cuttings that I took using a method that I learned from Nikki Strong over at Our Simple Life. I'll put a link to her YouTube channel in the description so you can see that video. And all of them are forcing bloom. So those are going to go on my mom's property. Trying to stay over here in the shade so you don't have so much glare. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon, and it's bright today. This bed is the sun bed. And last year I had planted all of my peppers and tomatoes in this bed. This year, other than the chives, which stayed, and some garlic that I had planted over the winter, then this is now going to be okra and a couple of sweet peppers. And in the back where the okra is, see these two pavers. They kind of divide the back third to the front 2/3. And in the back third, I planted corn, a variety called Sugar Baby. And in the front here, I've planted two kinds of okra, red burgundy and heavy hitter. The red burgundy I got from Botanical Interest, and the heavy hitter I got from Baker Creek. And these are peppers. I have no idea what variety they are. I had shuffled some things around in my seed trays, but they were the healthiest peppers. Pepper starts to get out here. They're still small enough that when the temperatures over the next few nights are going to be a little cool, so I'm going to come out here every night and cover them with a cloche to give them a little extra warmth. But they'll be fine, and we won't have any frosts in the 10-day forecast. But I'll keep an eye on them anyway. And they're in this spot now, so they'll get full sun in the morning, full sun in the late evening, and part shade in the afternoon at the hottest part of the day. So it's an ideal location for them. We'll just walk here through the berm. This is a little kind of hedgerow. This was my shade garden, and then the arborvitae came out, so now it's a bright sunny spot. I've got some bush beans planted in that planter. This is my favorite fern. This is a Godzilla fern. Look how cool that is. It's got purple veins. It's a beautiful plant. Hosta came back. It's in full mode. This is a blue hydrangea, and it got cut way back, and it's bouncing back nicely from its pruning. And then over here, I've got some, Irises coming up. They'll be blooming next week. And then got to get some of these wild strawberries out of the way. But hiding in here is a red sensation hydrangea that I got from directgardening.com last year. And it's growing for the first season. These Easter lilies will be 8 feet tall when they're fully grown. Last year I did not stake them, and they ended up bending over and like arching and tilting into the walkway. So this year I will be reinforcing them. This is the most exciting part of where the tree used to be. I put red noodle beans here up this teepee trellis, and then right behind it you see this patch of compost, and I have a little more to add, but I've put some peanuts in there, Virginia peanuts. I've never grown peanuts, I'm giving it a shot. I got those seeds from M.I. Gardener. And here my first red noodle bean has broken the soil. More of them look like they're about to pop up, so that's exciting. This spirea that drives me crazy. This is the part of the year when it does bloom. It's beautiful for such a short amount of time. It blooms very quickly and then goes away very quickly. It'll spend a couple of months green like this, just like a shrub. And then when the leaves fall off, it'll just be ugly sticks the rest of the year. But I like it this time of year. Over here, my little palette display. I put this together from an idea I got from Ben Van Heems over at growveg.com. He had a video on three creative ways to grow vertically. I have a separate video that I'm editing that'll actually show you the process I went through, so I won't talk too much about it now. But suffice it to say, it's new enough you can see that there aren't any flowers yet, but there will be. There are, however, some healthy nasturtium, some sweet peas, and some borage growing here at the bottom. And the sweet peas look like they're starting to climb. Actually, one of them's climbing the pot instead of the trellis. I have a few more knee-high sweet peas to bring out here that I can use to fill in the space. Look who keeps showing up in our video. What are you doing, just following me around? You're so cute. Before I go, I want to share this little idea with you. These were the $1 stackable planters that I got from Dollar Tree this season. And what I did was I put a little cut and come again garden mix, little to-go salad. And I had these available for my plant sale. They each had something different in it. This is some broccolini, some solar flare lettuce. This is ultraviolet mustard. And this is Scotch blue curled kale, the dwarf kale. These are all just cut and come again greens. You could just come out here and cut a little personal size salad and then let it keep growing and get 2 or 3 harvests off of it. So for $1 container and like $2 worth of seeds and maybe 50 cents worth of dirt, it's a really neat idea. If you're anything like me and you've started some tomato seeds and all of them did pretty well, and now suddenly you find you have more tomatoes than you know what to do with, are you feeling the way I'm feeling and be like, you know what, I will find a hole? These were some golden varieties, Gold King of Siberia. These were seeds that I got in a seed swap that Nikki Strong from Our Simple Life hosted. One of her participants gave those. This is a Golden Jubilee tomato that I grew from seed that I saved last year. And this was what I grew for a new variety, a new to me variety, is the Shemeg Stew Stuff tomato, also sometimes called Get Stuffed, which is a bell pepper shaped tomato that's red with orange streaks and really thick walls, very few seeds, and perfect for roasting, grilling. So I just keep, I think rather than letting these get root bound in the pot, I think I'm going to take some of the last few buckets of compost I have that I got from a local farmer and just build a berm and lay these on the ground sideways over here in the sunny corner of the house and let them grow as a vine, which is what tomatoes do naturally anyway. We're the ones who try to train them vertically, but they actually naturally grow horizontally. So I may give that a shot, at least with the two yellow ones. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you're watching this video and you live anywhere near Luray and you see any plants that you want, they're here, so you're welcome to come buy some from me. Any that I don't sell this week are going to go to the disaster auction to do some fundraising for a good cause. This is mystery zucchini, by the way. A friend of mine had somebody gave her some extra zucchini plants, and she has no idea if they're green or yellow or gray or how big they are or what variety they are, or if they're zucchini, a cucumber, a squash, a melon. So I stuck 2 of them in the ground just to see what happens. I'm not picky. I'll eat whatever grows. Anyway, I hope you all are having a blessed and wonderful week. I hope your gardening season is getting off to a good start like mine is. I want to thank my mom, Cindy, who helped to unload compost from my truck bed today, which is a big chore that my back wasn't up to, so that I can finish filling one last bed that's going to have some peppers go into it. As always, you know I'm learning a lot. I'm sharing it here, and I hope you'll come grow with me. See you next time.